income inequality is a lie, and I can prove it. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Okay, since moving overseas, a lot of politics back home don't really bother me anymore. It's pretty awesome, actually. But there's one that gets under my nerves. It grinds my gears, to use the Simpsons reference, and wanted to talk about it. And that's this idea of income inequality between men and women. It really is a joke, and I'm gonna prove it's not real. So let's get started. So the first reason that income inequality is not real is because all these jobs, your entry-level jobs, they all pay the same crappy wage anyways, right? So, for example, if you go get a job at Walmart, at McDonald's, at Target, at the mall, at a fast food restaurant, at any restaurant, Chipotle, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, if you go to a grocery store, Food Line, it doesn't matter where you go. Just naming a very long list for example here. If they pay men $12 an hour and they pay women $10 an hour, they get sued. It's that simple. They get sued to believe. Okay, it might be higher than that now. I don't know. It might be like 14 and 12. Regardless, like the idea is Walmart pays their employees the same crappy wage. They don't care if you're a guy or a girl, except on like their little check marks in the hiring process and HR and all that. And ironically, these same people that complain about income inequality, they're always complaining that corporations are so greedy and blah, 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 and they need to pay their employees more. Well, logically, let's just say, for example, corporations really did pay women less, wouldn't they just hire a bunch of women and then they could save a ton of money that way? Like, use your head and think about it. Oh, I almost forgot. They did surveys and tests, right? They went to Amazon and Google and Microsoft, all these big companies, to test to see if women got paid less than men or not, or if they were the same. And ironically, they found out that men actually got paid less than the women did. So this is true fact, Google it, it's on all the news stories. But this idea that women make less than men, they went to all the major companies and did all these surveys, and they found, if anything, the exact opposite is happening. The number two reason that pay gap inequality isn't real is because it really only affects CEOs and such. Every time I see this argument, they're like, oh, the CEO pay gap, like, look how much the CEO of Walmart gets compared to, like, the CEO of this company. And, oh, they're a man, they're a woman, and he gets 10 times more, and blah, blah. Okay, I guess that might be true, but how does that affect your average everyday person? It doesn't. It's like crying about alien inequality or something. Not illegal aliens. I'm talking about like aliens from outer space or something ridiculous, right? Like, let's say, we don't even know if they're real or not, but let's say there's aliens millions of light years away, and there's inequality over there. It doesn't even affect us. It doesn't affect you at all. It's kind of the same way. Like this whole CEO argument. Unless you're CEO, it doesn't affect you. So it's just one of those things where they get all emotional, and then they just have to go with their feelings and talk about it. And no. And I wish I was a CEO too. It doesn't matter. And honestly, it's really hard to judge CEO paychecks. I know overall we think they get paid too much, or maybe they do. But to compare like one CEO to another CEO is very hard to do. First, you have to make sure, are the companies the same size? Because some companies are a lot bigger than other companies. And how many employees do they have? How many stores do they have? And also job performance. Are they equal? So you'd have to truly compare the salary of different CEOs. You'd have to find companies where they're the same size company, and then job performance and growth and all that, the metrics are the same. Because overall, like, they pay CEOs a lot of money. Maybe too much. Well, that's a different story, but they pay them a lot because they get results, and they gotta get. They're very results driven. And if they don't, they get fired or they get pay cuts, and they largely get paid in stocks anyways these days. So if the CEO does bad, if the company does bad, that affects his paycheck. That affects the stock market. So the whole argument isn't very intellectually honest, or is purposefully misleading. The third reason income inequality isn't real is because they often don't compare apples to apples. They compare apples to oranges or something else. If you hear that phrase, you know what it means. I'm not going to explain it. Anyways, for example, they add up all these jobs and then they do averages and they try to twist statistics. That's what pollsters and politicians and all these people do. They you can make statistics say whatever you want, right? My ex used to work for the police, and they do crime statistics as like white, black, Hispanic, blah blah blah, and there weren't enough white people committing crimes in this county. I'm not saying overall. In this county, the disparity was too much for the higher ups to like. So they literally got rid of the Hispanic line and moved them all into a white other. And then that made it closer to each other, and just nonsense like that. And that's a true story, guys. It's just like you can literally manipulate data however you want. It's the same way you got high unemployment numbers in real life, but you can change it to where unemployment is really just the people looking for a job, and now unemployment's really low. It's like, well, that's not the real unemployment. There's a lot more unemployed people over here that aren't looking for a job. But yeah, if you know anything about math or statistics, you know they're very easy to twist and make it say basically whatever you want to with a little spin on it. That's what the news does, a little spin on things. But yeah, they compare apples to oranges, and they add up all this stuff and do averages when they're not the same job, and it's not the same rate, and there's different circumstances. For example, men are 10 times more likely to die at work because they do more dangerous jobs, like cutting trees and working on power lines and doing construction, that sort of thing, going on rooftops to repair it. They could slide off and die. Women are 10 times more likely to have an office job where they sit there and they're safe. So if we want to talk about inequality, let's talk about that. Men are 10 times more likely to die. Death is pretty serious. Maybe we should be paid like 10 times more. I don't know. But that's a different inequality that they don't want to talk about. But that's why you can't add all the averages of everything and then just divide and do your math. Like, it doesn't do your formulas. It doesn't work that way. They're completely different jobs. How many women do you see up there in the trees cutting down logs? There's a couple. There's a few. But majority is men. How many women do you see doing construction? How many women do you see up on the rooftop repairing it, the tile? There's a couple. There's some. But the large majority. So you have two different jobs. You have all this stuff, and then you have the women in the office. They're apples and oranges. You can't equate the two. They're not the same. And following this, men often work more overtime. They travel more, and we can't get pregnant. So this affects your raises and your career promotion path and everything. And you could argue, I guess, that the pregnant thing isn't really fair. But in today's age, you can get medicine, you can take pills, you can take birth control, you take after pills, you can wait for marriage, you can make him wear a condom, you can get surgery. So there's really no excuses for that anymore. But men doing overtime and traveling, women can do that. They just don't want to in a lot of cases. And there's nothing stopping them. And I'm not And lots of women do work hard, and lots of women do work overtime and travel. But statistically, and again, earlier I said you could twist statistics, but truthfully, and statistically, men just travel more and they work a lot more overtime. So that's often why they get ahead. And, you know, the woman that has to take months off her paternity leave when she gets pregnant and has a baby, that's fine. That's good. It's good that she's doing that. But men have all that extra time to work and to get ahead. And that's just the reality of life. So if you don't like that, if you're a career woman, don't get pregnant. It's really that simple. Hey guys, the video is starting to run a little long, so I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. Don't hate me, I'll have it up soon. But definitely come back for part 2. I actually saved the best for last. It's going to have the best hot takes and be the most controversial, but it's funny. So definitely stay tuned. I'll have it uploaded shortly. But yeah, if you liked it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps that channel. I really appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me and enable me to keep doing what I'm doing and make a living. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I'll see you next time. God bless. Peace.